This is Scotland's first fully protected marine reserve, one of only 3 in the whole of the United Kingdom. It was established in 2008 in Lamlash Bay on the Firth of Clyde, after a decade of campaigning by a voluntary community-led organisation called COAST, the Community of Arran Seabed Trust.
Howard, what's the plan today?
Well, the plan is that this morning we're going to take you for a dive within the no-take zone.
What are the key things we're going to look at?
A more complex seabed, so that basically after 3 years of no fishing, no extraction of any form, no dredging of the seabed, we're starting to see the kind of shoots of life coming from it, in both seaweeds, macroalgae, to lots of animals like hydroids and bryozoans and soft corals and sponges, hopefully.
The goal of the no-take zone is to help regenerate the local marine environment and enhance commercial shellfish and fish populations.
We've got lots of different things, including this. Argon mask. I'm just going to have a microphone in, so Howard can talk to us. There you go. Good luck.
At first, the bottom looks like a desert, caused by scallop dredging and trawling, which plough up the seabed, hoovering up everything in their path. But then, a few signs of regeneration.
Most of the growth you see on this little boulder here are hydroids. So they come in many shapes and forms. And what we've seen over the last 3 years is that the rocks and boulders in certain areas are helping with the spread of all these different species and all these animals out across into the sand and gravel substrate. So you can see the complexity of the seabed here. It's really just covered in hydroids and red algae that provides habitats for a huge array of fish, shellfish, young eggs.
Here's a scallop on the move, one of the species that's benefited from the no-take zone.
Over the last 2 to 3 years of protection, as the scallop numbers have increased, not only in numbers, but the size of the scallops within the no-take zone.
On a spot close to the shore that has always been naturally protected from trawlers and dredgers, Howard shows us what the seabed should look like.
We've got a little velvet crab, if you look just over that boulder, Oliver. Here we've got a nice, large, spiny starfish.
At 10 metres, we started to edge into the kelp forest.
And in amongst it, there's all kinds of brown filamentous algae, seaweeds that space for literally hundreds and thousands of both small and large creatures, all very, very important, and then both in the food chain and in the complexity of the marine environment.
So that's a healthy environment.
That's getting healthier.
There we go.
Just needs a few more years, and an odd decade will help it greatly.
We're going to get out of these lovely Scottish waters and actually have a look at the footage that we've shot and start to unpack the science behind what makes a no-take zone important for ocean health.
First, Howard showed us what was causing the damage.
This is a side-scan sonar, so it's a sound picture of the seabed, which is probably 150, 200 metres wide. And what we're seeing there is the tracks of the dredges. And you get two sets of dredges either side of the fishing boat. The whole area is crisscrossed. This is dredging. You know, it's not even trawling. It's where you've got tines digging into the seabed, going along digging out scallops. And what you have is a very, very simplified seabed, which just a few species can survive. Could we go and gather mushrooms in a forest and in the process cut down all the trees? And that's what literally we're doing under the water.
You've been doing scientific surveys for the last few years inside and outside the no-take zone. What has that revealed?
The results over the last couple of years reveal that within the no-take zone we're talking about 1.5 times more scallops, king scallops, and 3.3 times more queen scallops within the no-take zone.
And what's your scientific surveying showed about the health of gadoids in the area?
There were more juvenile cod, whiting and haddock within the no-take zone than there was outside. So that, you know, the proof of leaving areas unfished continues to be overwhelming, really.
What about the age of the fish that you've seen in your survey?
They're all quite small fish, probably under a year or a year and a half old. 40, 50 years ago, cod started spawning 6, 7, 8 years in age when they were, you know, fairly large fish. And nowadays, cod are starting to have to spawn if they're to survive at 3 to 4 years old. So
overfishing has actually changed the evolutionary patterns, the reproductive cycle of cod.
Smaller cod have to reproduce, and that has a significant effects on the fertility of the oceans and the seas for fishermen, because large cod produce literally thousands of times more eggs than smaller cod.
Do we know how long it's going to be before the scallop population is going to really bounce back?
To get a much more healthier fishery, we're talking about 8 to 10 years. We need more areas of basically a mixture of fisheries management, from no-take zone to marine protected areas where we've got a mix of fishing. So we're reducing the damage in bottom dredging and bottom trawling.
Howard and his colleagues are not stopping with the no-take zone. They're also proposing a marine protection area, 100 times bigger, but still only 8% of the Clyde. What's the difference between the no-take zone and the proposed marine protected area?
The difference is in the no-take zone there's no extraction of any marine life at all. The marine protected area, certain forms of fishing like creoling and angling and scallop diving would continue, but the forms of fishing like scallop dredging, bottom trawling would be prohibited. That's our proposal.
What will be the benefit to the fishing community?
There are many, many benefits to the fishing community, both in the short term and the long term. It contains 2 really important spawning areas for herring off the south end of Arran, and also since 2001 the whole of the south of Arran, which the majority of the MPA contains, has been a cod closure box. So it's known as a cod spawning area. If you protect the spawning grounds and protect the nursery areas inshore, the fish eventually, as all marine protected areas are, they're incredibly leaky. They've got no boundary stopping fish going out, so they leak out, and when they leak out, fishing industry benefit.
What are the benefits for the rest of the community?
The marine protected area has got the potential to have huge benefits to the rest of the community. The major employers is tourism. With a healthy marine protected area, we are very confident that tourism will increase. Some of the areas in tourism, especially things like sea angling, all types of wildlife tourism.
David Curry is one of the local scallop fishermen and mussel farmers.
I'll take it out now, not a problem. A good day for it.
What do you think of the no-take zone?
Yeah, very good. I mean, what Don McNeish and Howard done there together, it was really good.
Would you support the marine protected area?
If a farmer stops ploughing his fields, the fields will start growing naturally into whatever they want to do, so it's basically makes sense. That'll give juvenile fish right round the area plenty more ground to grow, you know.
At current rates of decline, scientists predict our seas could be without fish within 40 years. With 1 billion people eating fish as their primary source of animal protein, and over 200 million dependent on fish as their only livelihood, that could mean a humanitarian disaster. All is not lost. The ocean is resilient, and with our help, we can restore our ocean's health. Biomass increases of over 400%, for example, have been documented within marine reserves. And if key breeding grounds are protected, fish stocks recover. Good news for fishermen and surrounding areas. But scientists now believe that if we are to restore the health of the oceans, we need to protect at least 25% of them. Today, a little over 1% are currently protected.
The biggest stumbling block, not just in Scotland, but in the UK, in fact, probably the whole world, is the complete lack of political will. The short-termism of politicians and fisheries ministers is, to be honest, absolutely unbelievable, because the economics of marine protected areas are well proven. We just need to look to the future, and future generations, future fishermen. These things are proven, they work.